I want to start with a moment I hear described again and again. You walk into a room, a meeting, a classroom, a social space. Nothing bad is happening, but your body reacts immediately. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your awareness turns sharply inward. Suddenly, you're hyper-aware of yourself, how you're standing, what your face is doing, whether you're saying the right thing. It feels as if something has gone wrong simply because you've been seen. If that moment feels familiar, that instant sense of exposure before you've even had a thought, this video is for you. Because social anxiety isn't a confidence problem. It's a signal from a nervous system that learns something important very early. And if you want to practice the skills that help your body respond differently, gently, and at depth, you can explore them at PsycheVita.com or in the PsycheVita app. I'm Dr. Tony Weston. I'm a psychotherapist, executive coach, and award-winning researcher. I work with people who are often told they should be more confident or more assertive, when the problem isn't confidence at all. In this video, I want to show you 3 things. What social anxiety is really responding to. Why reassurance and pushing yourself so often fail. The capacities that allow safety to emerge when you're seen. What the signal is really saying. Skill 8.2, Somatic Attunement. Social anxiety isn't fundamentally about people. It's about exposure without safety. For many people, the body learned early on that being visible meant risk, emotional overwhelm, dismissal, ridicule, unpredictability, or being left alone with intense feelings. Often this learning happened before words, sometimes before memory, always before choice. The nervous system learned a simple procedure. When I'm seen, something bad happens and I'm on my own. That's why the reaction is bodily. Your system responds before you can think. This is where somatic attunement matters. Skill 8.2 is the capacity to notice bodily activation without immediately trying to disappear, perform, or shut it down. Not to force calm, but to stay present just a little longer than before. Developmental origins, how this gets learned. When I talk about social anxiety being learned early, I'm not talking about shyness or temperament. I'm talking about development. In healthy early development, a child is seen while overwhelmed and survives that experience because someone else is there. A caregiver notices distress, tunes in, regulates the child's nervous system with them. Over time, the child learns something very basic. I can be seen, feel a lot, and stay connected. But when that process breaks down through neglect, abuse, dismissal, unpredictability, or emotional absence, the child has to adapt, not by choice, by necessity. They learn to regulate alone. They learn to minimize needs. They learn to stay invisible when overwhelmed. And crucially, they learn this before they can think about it. So when that child later walks into a classroom, a meeting, or a social space, their body remembers being seen is when things go wrong. That's not a belief. That's a procedural memory. And once you understand that, it becomes clear why asking someone to challenge their thoughts or just push themselves so often misses the point. Why cognition comes too late. Skill 1.2 Adaptive Emotional Processing. You can know you're safe and still feel exposed because the fear isn't a thought, it's an unfinished emotional response. Social anxiety often carries emotions like shame, hurt, fear, and a longing for safety. If those emotions were never met or regulated by others, the body learned to manage them alone through collapse, control, or hypervigilance. Skill 1.2, Adaptive Emotional Processing, isn't about analysing feelings. It's about allowing emotion to rise and fall without panic, collapse, or urgent action. Developmentally, feeling tolerance comes before action, before confidence, before assertiveness. The growth edge, worth without performance. Skill 3.4, Healthy Self-Worth. For many people with social anxiety, worth became conditional. I'm okay if I don't need too much. I'm okay if I don't stand out. I'm okay if I don't get it wrong. That isn't low self-esteem. It's unprotected worth. Skill 3.4, Healthy Self-Worth, doesn't come from affirmations. It develops when someone has repeated experiences of being allowed to exist, feelings and all, without being dismissed, shamed, or made too much. And that only becomes possible after the body feels safer. This is the same procedural logic we saw with emetophobia, just in a social arena instead of a bodily one. You don't need to do anything with this right now. Just notice the urge to manage how you appear, the pull to perform or withdraw, the moment your system feels exposed. Awareness without action is already a developmental step. If social situations feel threatening, it doesn't mean you're inadequate. It means your nervous system learned early how to protect you. This isn't about forcing exposure or pushing confidence. It's about building the internal capacities that allow safety to grow. In the next episode, I'll look at what happens when the system doesn't panic, but goes numb instead. If you want to practice these skills in a structured way, you'll find them at PsycheVita.com and in the PsycheVita app. You're not broken. You're responding to a history and learning something new.